What's good, guys? I hope you had a great day, and I'm back with a new video about Lidia in Season 2. I'll discuss the changes about her in the new season, give a rundown about everything in the patch notes, every change she has received, and I'm gonna talk to you about how you can use the new changes, if it's gonna be affect her game plan, and at the end we're gonna talk about the big picture on how she changed in general and how you have to play her now. Let's start with her new moves. She received two new moves. The first one is forward 3-2. It is a new extension to her forward 3 string, where in season 1 she only had the high in forward 3-4, or if you want to do the blue sparks, forward 3 QCF4. Given that she has a mid mix-up now, it makes your opponent hesitate and actually think about what can come. Opponents who knew how to deal with Lidia were able to always crouch after forward 3 and launch the 4 attempt, so it was quite risky to use that move. Also, people who really knew that forward 3 itself is punishable, as you can see forward 3 is -11, were able to punish the move, forward 3 itself, without taking too much risk, because forward 3 QCF4 only guaranteed your 10th frame afterwards. Now, given that you have forward 3-2, which is a mid extension, makes people hesitate to duck after forward 3, and on top of that, it makes people hesitate to also punish the first hit, because the second hit actually behaves in a similar way as QCF1 plus 2-2, where the second hit gives you a full combo and counter hit. So forward 3-2, I didn't find too many use cases so far in a game, because in order for the move to work, people gotta really know the matchup and duck after forward 3 to evade 4, or really have to punish the first hit to get counter hit by the second hit. It also works as a tailspin, as a tornado, so what you can do is you can use it to find some combos. I haven't found any new combos or usage for that yet, but maybe we take more time to discover new things. Another thing about forward 3-2 is that, as you can see on block, it is -4 and forced in stance. But keep in mind with Lidia, since she's forced in stance and can't instantly block, that actually means it's punishable. You always have to keep in mind that every stance entry of Lidia on block, she takes 8 frames to recover from that. So if I do the move, you can see it's -4. If we add 8 on top, that means -12, or like subtract, however you want to see it. That means this move on block is -12. So if I put Lidia to punish with a 12 frame move, which is her forward 2-4, I won't be able to block that, even though it says -4. It says punish, as you can see on the right. But if I put Lidia on a 13 frame move, maybe we have that. 13 frame move with down for 1. If I hold back, I'll block it. So technically it's -12. Another thing to keep in mind here is that in heat, you have your Heaven and Earth parry, which parries incoming attacks. So in heat, the attack will actually be safe. So if I put her back to, maybe we have forward 2. I don't see it. So if you put her back to forward 2-4, which was a punish before, we can now use our Heaven and Earth parry to parry the punish attempt. So in heat, you can use the move more often than outside of heat because of your parry. Next move we talk about is her new horse edition, which is horse 3+4. It is a high homing attack from horse. It is 20 frames fast and it's +6 on block and leaves you on wolf. So what is the use case of this move? Most of the time you go into horse after FF2 on either block or on hit. Opponents who know how to deal with FF2 into horse will most likely jab or dig jab to escape the pressure, because those two options will beat the majority of Lidia's options. Unfortunately, horse 3+4 will lose to both jab and down jab. So after ff2 on block, it's not the best option to use. What you can do is using it after ff2 on hit, because you're left at plus 15. So this is a frame trap, they can power crush it, they can rage at it. If they press, they get hit, and on hit you have a guaranteed Wolf 2 combo. Another situation where you can use that is after QCF4, since QCF4 leaves you in a horse now. I'll talk about that later. And Sidestep 2, since Sidestep 2 leaves you in horse now as well. I think it's a good thing to watch out what your opponent does or likes to do, because I just said it's not the best to do it after ff2 on block, since jab and down jab beats the majority of her options and horse 3+4 loses to both. But if your opponent likes to sidestep a lot after ff2 on block, like that, then it's a good tool to catch the opponent into guaranteed follow-up. If your opponent is quite passive and just blocks and takes the pressure after ff2 on block, you can do horse 3+4 in order to be +6 in Wolf. What you can do in Wolf is either frame trap with Wolf 2, which is also a wall split. Oh, I'll put it on block, which is also a wall split. So what we can do here is press that into a wall split. What else you can do in Wolf is, go for the Wolf 4 low, or you can go for some chip damage with Wolf 1 charged, or you can go for the Wolf 3-1. So Wolf 3+4, horse 3+4, sorry, can be used in quite some situations. Especially at the wall, you have this new wall crush mechanic with horse 3+4, leaving you at +16, making the mix-up even deadlier at the wall. So what I like to do in my matches is, when I know the opponent is quite passive, or I hit a forward 2 on hit, which is +15, I like to follow up with the horse 3+4 into +16 into mix-up. Especially at the wall, what you can do is threaten the low, because everyone who ducks has to take the risk of getting wall split by Wolf 2. Another thing that this move has is a heat option. If you're in heat, since the move knocks down, another change that Lidia received in this patch is that her heat Heaven and Earth 1 now hits grounded opponents. Since horse 3+4 knocks them down, in heat what you can do is horse 3+4, Heaven and Earth 1 into guaranteed down 1+2, which is a huge chunk of damage, especially when you're in level 3. You put Lidia to level 3, go into heat, do horse 3+4, Heaven and Earth 1, down 1+2. It does a huge chunk of damage. So in my opinion, horse 3+4 needs some time to get used to actually incorporate that in your offense, but then it's actually a really good move. Okay, next up we talk about the changes to forward 3-4 and QCF4. As I told you before, forward 3-4 was an extension, or is an extension to forward 3, and QCF4 is the single move itself. In season 1, what the move did was that on block it left you at +1. The move now transitions into horse stance. So before it left you at +1 in neutral, what now happens is if you press QCF4 on block, it's the same situation as ff2 on block. You're left in horse, you're left in at +5. On hit though, what the move does is it leaves you at +17. So it's not quite the same situation as ff2 on hit. Namely, being +17 gives you a free heat engage on normal hit if you hit QCF4. The same applies to 3 forward 4, 3 forward 3-4 or forward 3 QCF4. On hit, it leaves you at plus 17, giving you a free heat engage. Horse 2 being guaranteed also means that this move, while you're in heat, is a free launch, since it guarantees you the heat dash out of Horse 2 into a combo. Now, this move definitely got buffed. Many people don't like the forced stance transition, but in this case I'd say is way better than before, since +1 didn't mean too much and the +10 on hit. You had 1 to 2 guaranteed, which was nice I guess, but having a heat engage and a launcher guaranteed is way better. Also, you get 1 level upgrade because Horse 2 leaves you in Heaven and Earth. Another thing you can use QCF4 for is that if it's plus 17, you don't only have Horse 2 guaranteed, you also have Horse 1 guaranteed. That means at the wall, if you hit QCF4, you have Horse 1 guaranteed into a wall split. So you get a huge combo where you can do Horse 1, hold back, QCF 1+2, 1+2 into Blossom War combo. So I think the move is way more usable now, since the reward gets changed quite a lot, and a mechanic change in Tekken 8 made it that you can use QCF moves from crouch as well. This is not new to Season 2, this is new to Tekken 8, but if I'm in crouch and I want to use QCF4, you don't have to crouch cancel, I can just press QCF4 and do it from crouch. So if I stand here, maybe it doesn't reach, okay, if I stand here, you can threaten a homing move, which is quite nice. Next up, we talk about Sidestep 2. Sidestep 2 got a similar change to QCF4, where it leaves you on horse plus 10 on hit, but -1 on block. So Sidestep 2 is not too advantageous on block. I wouldn't actually use it too much, but what it can do is you can apply a bit more pressure with Sidestep 2 since it leaves you at plus 10. You have a couple of more options at plus 10 than at plus 5. Like you can do Horse 3+4 as I told you before. It's a good move. You can kind of use Horse 3 if they retaliate with a slower move. Or you can keep on your pressure with like Horse 4. Another thing added to Sidestep 2 though is that let's say the opponent is getting hit by Sidestep 2 and blocks. Since it's plus 10, they can block Horse 2. But they added a mechanic pretty similar to Heihachi and Reina's forward 4, where if you hit your opponent while crouched, keep in mind I put him on second action block, you're left at plus 17. So if your opponent ducks and you hit a Sidestep 2 on them, Horse 2 is guaranteed, which is a welcome change. The same thing applies that also applies to QCF4. It leaves you as plus 17, meaning at the wall, if the opponent ducks because they're scared of like Downback 3, you can do a Sidestep 2 into Horse 1, into your screw, into your Blossom War combo. In my opinion, I don't know how much this is gonna affect your gameplay at all, because obviously the change to Sidestep 2 on crouch opponent is very nice, but I don't know if you should use Sidestep 2 over back 1. Since back 1 always has a heat engage, not only on crouch it doesn't leave you at -1, it actually leaves you at +2. So you can also do Sidestep back 1 instead of Sidestep 2. I think the good part about Sidestep 2 is that you can kind of confirm the crouch hit. So if I'm in heat, let's activate heat, and I only want to use my heat dash for a launcher, okay, I see I hit her on crouched, then I go for a launcher, whereas with back 1, you kind of have to commit. So if they block and you press back 1 into heat dash, I mean you're still +5, but you don't get the combo. Whereas in Sidestep 2, you can actually confirm if it hit the opponent while crouching and confirm into the combo. So it's quite situational, it's a welcome buff, but I definitely think QCF4 is the better buff in that case. Okay, the next change I like quite a lot. the next thing that got changed about Lidia is about her QCF 1+2 screen. In Season 1, what the move did was that it's a counter rate launch on the first one, a counter rate launch on the second one, but it was -14 on block, which means -6 force and stance. And that's it. What you can do now is that you can hold the second input. By holding the second input, the move leaves you at +8 and then wolf, which is crazy because that means you get a free wolf mix-up. Now, why is it crazy? Because first of all, the move gets changed from -14 to -12, so it has less risk overall. And second of all, the charge is super strong because leaving you at +8 in the wolf gives you a free mix-up situation afterwards. You can either do the wolf 4, or if people respect the plus frames, you can go for charge wolf 1 for even more chip damage. Now, the thing about charge moves is as people get used to charge moves, obviously they try to interrupt. The move still is a counter rate launch though, meaning that if the opponent is quite slow with the interrupt, they risk getting launched. So if I put Lidia to the charged QCF 1+2, and let's assume I'm an opponent who's quite slow with interruption, I'll get counter rate launched. So they actually have to be on point in order to interrupt the stance, and if they're on point, you still have the option to just instantly do it, go into wolf, and only be -12. Or when you're in heat, don't forget that you have your parry, so you can parry incoming punish attempts. So I think that move really complements her aggression playstyle and her mix-up heavy playstyle, where you can just try to find situations where you can use QCF 1+2 charge into more mix-ups. And don't forget what I said a couple of minutes ago, where you can use QCF moves from crouch, so you can force a mix-up between the full crouch sweep, which is full crouch down for 3, and you can go for QCF 1+2 from crouched. The next change, which I do like at times, is that they have given QCF 1+2 an alternative input that does less damage but has less risk to drop. Like sometimes on tournaments, when I play tournaments and I'm very nervous, or I don't know, some weird situation happens, it's so common that you can drop QCF inputs. What they did is now that you can actually perform the move by pressing down back 1+2 as well. As you can see, it does less damage. The first one does 15, whereas if I press QCF 1+2, it gives you blue spark. Oops, see? It gives you blue spark and does 18 damage. So you lose quite a bit of damage, but since having an easier input means you're less likely to drop it, I think it's worth it sometimes. If we compare a combo damage, like let's do something like that. The QCF input leaves you at 63. Whoops. Not being able to press F2. And down back 1+2 leaves you at 62, so it's only 1 damage difference in a combo, which is nothing. So if you want to be on the safe side and are unsure if you're going to drop QCF 1+2, just use down back 1+2. Alright, the next change is one of the best changes, in my opinion, that she has gotten in this patch. I don't know how about you guys, but when I played Lidia in Season 1 and I was in heat, my goal by pressing Heat Smash was for the opponent to block. Because on block you get 1 upgrade of your level, you get stronger because the higher the level of Lidia, the better the character. And every time I was in heat and my Heat Smash hit him, I was actually getting annoyed even though I hit my opponent, because all I wanted was a medal. All I wanted was my level to go up. But hitting your opponent didn't give you a level up. So it was actually in some cases worse to hit your Heat Smash than have it on block, even though you get the damage. What they changed in Season 2 now is that your Heat Smash also gives you a level up on hit. which is such a good quality of life buff. It gives you way more opportunities to level up Lidia, and it just makes sense now, because why does the heat smash not give a level up on hit? In my opinion, this is one of the best changes she has received in this game, in this patch, because you're not getting annoyed if your opponent gets hit by heat smash. Now your goal is to hit heat smash again, since it gives you a level up. It still gives you a level up on block, which is nice, but this change really increased her reliability in game, because it's way easier to get to level 3 in game now. Okay, the next change is about her 1+2. What they did to 1+2 is they changed the damage values. 1+2 used to be a heavy hitting move already, but now they changed the damage way more. Like 1+2 no charge does 35 now, whereas in season 1 it did 40 at full charge. And I just tapped 1+2. And 1+2 on full charge in season 2 does 55, which is a huge chunk. Such a big amount of damage. Not only did the move receive a damage buff, actually it received another buff, which is quite useful, since now what it does is it gives you a wall splat in combo, which is crazy for adjustments. What you can do with the move is really good. Like, you have way more opportunities to adjust your combos. You get way better splats, you can adjust wall combos, you have almost unlimited options. Like, let me try to give you an example of the usage of 1+2. Since it gives you a wall splat, what you can do is carry your opponent to the wall, do your heat burst, and then do 1+2 to redo another wall splat. I don't know if I'm at the right spacing right here, but let me try to get a nice combo in here. Like that. Let's try. Something like this. And you got 99 damage out of that, because I was able to resplat them even after having my wall splat by pressing 1+2. Which is so good, And you don't even have to be at the wall, you know, you can also be like close to the wall. If you screw, then you do heat burst, do this, and then, oh, I already screwed, I forgot that. I do this, you wall split then, and then you can do a wall combo, whatever you want. So that change ups her combo game by quite a lot and helps her do even more damage, which is very nice. Next change, it is about her Horse 3. What it did in season 1 is that it knocked down your opponent the same way as Wise Ring 3 does. You had a guaranteed fall for 1+2 or a guaranteed stomp, and that's about it. It was a good chunk of damage, you had good reward at the wall. I think it wall splatted, and it was a good move. Like, it was just floatable. What it does now though is it leaves your opponent standing. But if you keep track of the frame data, it says +14. That means hitting Horse 3 now gives you a guaranteed political storm into more damage than it does before, I think, I'm not sure. But you also get yourself heat. So you have one more way to enter heat, which is very important for Lidia and her game plan, because it's all about getting level 3 and being a broken character. And helping her to get in heat, and in heat, helping her to get a bit more damage, since you can heat dash out of that, is a very good buff. 62 damage out of the homing. It is one of your best moves out of Horse after FF2 on block, against opponents who like to down jab, because it's a low crush, it will go over down jab and give you the guaranteed hit. Now +14 Doesn't mean you always have to opt for Political Storm, since if you hit it at a wall, you can also, whoops, I was too slow, you can also just press 424 and get the wall splat, which is so good. It's just so good. So you have the, man, I'm so slow. You have the option to actually play around with the frame data and get some damage about the current situation. I think this is definitely a buff, even though it's not a knockdown anymore. You get the Political Storm, you get heat, you can still wall split, so you didn't lose that. And the move overall just got more and more use cases. It's homing, and I think it does chip damage now. Yeah, it does chip damage now, which is really, really good. Next change, also one of her biggest changes, is forward 4-3. That move was a combo ender and is still a combo ender, but it didn't do too much. Like in season 1, you were able to end combos with forward 4-3. It does more damage based on your level count. Like on, if you don't have any level, it doesn't do that much. If you're on level 1, it does a bit more. On level 3, it did a bit more, but they further increased the damage that the move does in aerial combos. And they added a mechanic where when you're level 3, it also induces a wall splat, even mid-air. So what you can do now is, if you hit a combo and hit them with 4-4-3, as you can see, you get a full wall splat and damage on top. So this move helps you with your combos even more if you're on level 3. If I do that, I get the wall splat. Okay, I don't. That. I get the wall splat. And then you can continue with the wall combo for 107 damage, which is so crazy if you think about it. Also, what you can do is save up your screw and use the move. Whoops. Save up the screw and use the move to enter heat afterwards and do even more damage. Like I do the same combo here as I did before, and I do 4-4-3 at the wall, activate my heat, hop kick, Heaven on Earth, 1 into the down 1+2 for 118 damage. So that move is so crazy when it comes to damage now. Also, just in general, since they increased the damage of that on aerial opponents, the damage of your combo now, it's a bit hard, let me try to hit it. The damage of this combo, no wall, no resource, just being on level 3, is a lot. 92. And that's not it. What it does on top of that is it removes gray life of your opponent as well. So let's put that here. As you can see, Lidia has gray life. Let's do just a simple combo. I end with 4-4-3. When you're at level 3, it removes the gray life of the opponent. Which is crazy if you consider that Lidia can actually do a lot of chip damage. Like, let's assume I hit a heat engage. And what you can do is chip the opponent a lot by pressing Heaven and Earth, 1+2, Heaven and Earth, 2, Heaven and Earth, 2, chip them out, and then use your combo or any combo where you use 4-4-4-3 and remove gray life. Now keep in mind, there is one thing that I also learned quite recently, and that is that not every wall splat is the same. And this is important to keep in mind when you want to use 4-4-4-3. Like I showed you the combo. I showed you when you do a combo with Lidia that you can use the new move to just wall splat them. Oops, doesn't matter. You get a wall splat, you get a wall combo. Okay, now I thought that it's just straight up you can wall split them or do anything and get the scaling. Like, if I show you that again where I hit her on the wall. See, she is on the wall. Lidia is on the wall here. She's already wall splatted. And if I do 4-4-3, you can continue your combo. So even when your opponent is wall splatted, you can use it. Now this is where the difference between wall splits comes in place. I assumed, okay, if you get like a punish close to the wall, like 4-2-4, I do a resplat and I want to do this again. You can't combo anymore. And I was so confused because I didn't believe that the different kind of wall splats actually mean something. And now you have to pay attention if you want to successfully use forward, 4-3. And this also applies to the 1+2 resplat. You know, the 1+2 heat resplat. This applies here as well. In Tekken, there are two different kinds of wall splats. Like if I use forward 2-4, you can see the way Lidia falls to the ground is that she falls towards her stomach. She falls face forward to the floor. If I use 4-4, if I wall splat her with back 1, whoops, she gets wall splat. It's the same way how she falls down, as you can see. And this is also the same wall splat of FF43. I have to. Let's do a combo. Let's do a combo. I saved it from here. The way she falls down is the same when I hit that. As you can see, it's the same way she falls down, face forward. Now, forward 4-3 in combos, inducing a wall splat means that you can only use that move as a wall splat if you didn't have that kind of wall splat before. Like if I use forward 2-4, it already did that wall splat where she falls face forward. So since that kind of wall splat is already used, you can't use FF4-3 in order to re-wall splat them. Now there is a different kind of wall splat in Tekken where they don't fall face forward, rather they slide down the wall. If I wall splat them by wall splitting 2, you can see Lidia slides down now and doesn't fall forward. Since she slides down, this is not the same wall splat as 4-4-4-3. Meaning, here, I can use that to re-wall split them and get a combo. And this is very important to keep in mind when you want to use FF4-3 as a wall split. That's also the reason why when I wall split them from a combo, you can use 4-4-4-3 because they slide down the wall and don't fall forward. So it's a bit tricky and a bit hard to keep that in mind during games, but the more you play, the more you'll get used to. And there's actually a quite funny situation where if I use 4-4, you can see how they fall face forward, but if you hit that from a bit further away, you can see if Lidia is in the air by 4-4, the wall split changes where she slides down. So if I hit forward 4 from a bit further away and give her the new wall split, now I can use that again to introduce a whole combo, which is quite sick for situational awareness. So yeah, that's a bit of theory lecture in Tekken, but keep in mind there are two different kinds of wall splats, and FF43 only works if you haven't used that kind of wall split before. Alright, next change is a quite good buff to Lidia's red tape. Red tape is her down back 3. Down back 3 was one of her best homings already before, since it's a true homing, and it does quite a chunk of damage. What it does now, it does even more damage on counter hit now based on your level. Since we're level 3 now, let me activate counter hit. It will do quite a lot now. 51 on clean it, which is crazy for a health sweep. Or Demo Man, how you want to call it. I like to call it health sweep. But yeah, 51 damage is so much. Another thing that got added here is that certain moves of Lidia being in level 3, this only applies to level 3, take away the gray life like FF43 did, and it's the same case for Lidia's down back 3. She, as you can see, the opponent has gray life, I hit him with that, the gray life is gone. That is so crazy. Removing gray life with the 50 damage sweep is so good. Another thing added was that the Oki on counter got changed as well. Before, what you had to do is, let's check, where is the wake up mid kick. Before, if the opponent did the wake up mid, you almost had to take it. Like, you were at -10 after the down back 3 on hit, which didn't leave you with as many options. Now this is a button that a lot of people talk about, but they changed the recovery of Lidia by 8 frames, meaning that after down back 3 and counter hit, you'll be able to move way better now and do way better actions. Like if the opponent still does wake up kicks afterwards, which is a common thing to do as your opponent if they knew how to deal with Lidia, you can just do another down back 3 and counter it the wake up kick for 100 damage in total. This sequence just did 100 damage, 102, which is crazy. What you can also do is probably just sidewalk into a full combo, punish, or down for 2 for a heat engage. You're pretty open to do anything since the Oki is way more in your favor now. I'm not too sure if down 1 plus hits here, like even down 1 plus 2. Look at the damage. So you are in a crazy advantageous position. People haven't talked about this buff a lot, like specifically the recovery on the ground, but I think just the ground change of down by 3 is probably top 5 of her new changes. Like together with her heat smash and the FF43. The down back 3 on counter raid, that you can do anything you want afterwards, is a crazy buff. So I'll definitely try to use way more down back 3 in game now. Obviously you take a risk, but we play Lidia after all, you have to take risks. Next change is about back 3 for QCF 1 plus 2. What it does now is it also is a move that changes based on your level, which before was not. It does higher damage the higher your level is, like at level 0 it does 46. And at level 3 it does 53. 7 damage is not that much of a difference. I wouldn't use it more than before. But what level 3 does mean is that once you are at max levels and you're not sure that you hit your Blossom at the wall, like some people do struggle with Blossom at the wall, Blossom being the string. I do as well, like don't understand me wrong. I do as well. You can now opt for back 3 wall combo. Like if we go to level 0, oops, I have to resod. If we go to level 0, let's go here, level 0, and I do a wall combo. Now if you compare the damage between Political Storm, which is 73, and back 3 wall combo, it is 71, so it does less than Political Storm at level 0. If you're at level 3 now though, oh, I have to go back here. If you're at level 3 now, and we compare the damage, Political Storm does 66 in this case, and back 3 does 69. So if you're at level 3, and I'm not sure if you're gonna hit your Blossom wall combo, you can use back 3 wall combo to get more damage. Also, I think back 3 wall combo does more damage than a single Just Frame Blossom. Let's only do one Just Frame. Oops. Oops. 70. Okay, if I hit the second Just Frame, if I hit the first one, it does less damage. If I hit the second one, it does more. And if you hit both, obviously Blossom is more. Whoops. See? 71. I think it's quite worth it to do that wall combo if you have level 3, since 2 damage difference is not that much. And I do struggle with Blossom wall combos. Alright, next change is about her command throw. Up, forward, 1+2. What does it do now? It does even more damage on level 3 than it did before. So it does 50 damage now. And the throw, as some other moves I have showed you before, also removes Grey Life. If you check out her HP, I do the throw, 50 damage, no Grey Life, good buff. So what that means is, if you're in level 3, just keep on grabbing your opponent because her throw is so good. Also, don't forget that in Tekken 8, there is a special mechanic where power crushes can get punished by throws. So if your opponent likes to use power crushes and you're very ready, it's way better to punch with your throw than with your regular punish. I'm not on level 3 right now, but you know what I mean. Like if I do forward 2-4 here, it's 33 damage. If I do my throw, it's 40 to 50 depending on your level. And depending on your level, you also get rid of the Grey Life. Quality of life change is that Cat 4 does more damage now. It did 10 damage before, it does 14 now. Not much to say here, just a quality of life change, bit more damage. We'll take it. We'll take it. The next change is about Wolf 1, which now does 9 chip damage on block. Before it did 4, now it does 9. Same as Cat 4, nice quality of life change, ups her chip damage, ups her damage. We take it, we take it. Same applies to Wolf 1 Charge. Wolf 1 Charge did 13 chip damage before, now it does 17. It's good. We won't complain. The next thing mostly is a bug fix about 3+4. I didn't use 3+4 that much in Season 1. I won't use it too much in Season 2 either. It just had a weird situation where sometimes the first hit and the second hit whiffed. Now what they fixed is that either both are gonna whiff or both are gonna hit or be on block. So mostly a bug fix, The next thing that is written on the patch notes is about QCF 1+2, which is the first hit of that string. As I told you before, the changes here are that you have the Just Frame version now by pressing QCF, and that the second one is -12 now instead of -14. Reminder, it says -4, but that means -12. Okay, the next buffs are about cat stance, which actually improve cat stance quite a lot. For example, if you hit down for 2 before on hit and like to mix them up, I like to do Cat 1. Cat 1 is a 17 frame mid, which does wall splat. But before it was let me check, it was -8. And the pushback was non-existent. Like, you were very close to the opponent, you were at -8, meaning you had to give up your turn, you didn't have many options afterwards. Now they changed that move to be -4 and increased the pushback. As you can see, we're standing on around range 2, which means you can do a single backdash and escape a lot of the pressure of the opponent. And being -4 also means you are free to also retaliate more, like you can do Cat 1 to jab sometimes to catch like a slower move attempt, or you can do Cat 1 to sidestep, Cat 1 to power crush, Cat 1 to parry. It's just a very good buff to the cat pressure in total. As I said before, Cat 4 does more damage now as well, so they have complemented Cat in total by buffing her lows and buffing her mids, so the stance in general got buffed quite a lot. Now the next change is really good because it fits into her new changes a lot, like the way she got changed in Season 2. And that is that Cat 1+2, which before was -10 on block, meaning punishable, now became safe, -9. So that means if you get into cat somehow and mix them up by your lower mid, you can do cat 1+2 in order to transition to wolf. It says -1 now in the frame data, but it says it means -9. -9 still is safe. That means you have a free attempt to go for a mid, which is a good mix up to cat 4. And if you hit cat 1+2 and hit, it leaves you at +27 and then wolf, which is a good situation to be in since wolf has crazy mix up potential. Making that safe is actually a really crazy change against higher level opponents who tend to punish cat 1+2 a lot, meaning that you just safe, even though -9 means you have to take the mix up and give up your turn sometimes. The risk reward changed a lot by just being able to block afterwards. Next change about wolf. Wolf 4 became actually good. I mean, it was an alright low before, but wolf 4 became good. Why is it a good move now? As I told you before, we have way more opportunities to go into wolf now. Like cat 1+2 leaves us at +27 in wolf. We have QC of 1+2 charge leaves us in +8 as wolf in wolf. So we have way more opportunities. We got a new move in horse 3+4 that leaves us in wolf. So they needed to adjust wolf stance to make it even better. The only low we had before was wolf 4, which was launch punishable, being -16 for the majority of the cast, and the reward was not that high. It did quite a chunk of damage, it knocked down the opponent, but it was launch punishable, so it was very risky for Lidia to use that low. What they did now is they made it -14. So that means only a handful of characters are able to launch that low now. If we actually, let's check, because that's good to know. Who has a 14 frame launch now? So many characters don't have one. Dragunov has one in Heat, but we leave that out. Jinjun, Kazuya still can launch 3. It's not a lot. Lee 4. Actually, Anna in Heat, not too risky. Eddie, Raven. 5 to 6 characters. 5 to 6 characters can launch that now, where before, I think everyone was able to launch the low. So having a not new low, but having a low with less risk in wolf is actually so good and ups your mix-up game, because you have a safe mid wolf sled, you have a chargeable chip damage move, and you have a string with a mental game afterwards where you can only do the first one or do the second one. What they also changed about that move is that on level 3, it still gives you a knockdown. What you did before, it does 38 damage, and at the wall, which is actually crazy, and keep that in mind, at the wall, if you hit wolf 4, you get down 1+2 afterwards guaranteed. Now, what does that make now? If we think about how, let me put them on standing block, how horse 3+4 induces the wall crush and leaves you at +16, what they have to do now, if you're in level 3 state, is guess between a low that in total does 64 damage, since you have wolf 4, 38 plus the stomp 26, or they have to guess between a safe wall splitting mid. Oh, that doesn't work. I explained that, I forgot that it doesn't work. Don't do the same mistake as I did, but you can do something around the lines of that. Or even what you can do is go into heat, and then we do 73. It's just straight up crazy. So Wolf 4 is also one of the best buffs we have gotten, making it -14, making it have less risk, and actually having great reward, especially in level 3 and at the wall. The next quality of life change is about downback 4. Downback 4 got changed in a way that it finally Not consistent, but is most likely to hit opponents on the ground, which it did not before. I had a lot of struggle with opponents who like to stay on the ground with Lidia, because the moves you were meant to do were either FF3, which is very slow, being an FF move, being 19 frames, and very risky if they tend to stand up. Like, if they stand up the moment you do FF3, you're at -14, which is not the best. It's quite risky, it's slow, and yeah, that's it. Or you had to do down 2, which does almost no damage. It's also risky at -14 if they stand up duck. So the options were a bit limited. Down 1+2 works as well, but it doesn't have the best range. So what they did now is made down back 4 hit on grounded opponents, which is so good because the damage is better than down 2. The risk is less than down 2. The range is probably better than down 2. And you can keep up your pressure. I just like that way more. So we have a way better grounded hitting tool now with less risk than the other ones. And it's a low, which is good as well, since you can mix them up. And you don't have to take the risk by pressing like Domic 3 as well. Domic 3 forces you in stance, so it's not the best situation to keep on pressuring afterwards as well. Okay, next change is about Heaven and Earth 1. As I told you when I talked about Horse 3+4, is that Heaven and Earth 1 get changed in a way that it hits grounded opponents now. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit her, but yeah. It does hit grounded opponents. Before, it did hit your opponents in a combo. We always used to do Heaven and Earth 1 as our wall combo. But if you were in Heaven and Earth and your opponent liked to stay on the ground, you didn't have any tool to hit him. Now, they actually have to stand up and take the mix, or stay on the ground and take Heaven and Earth 1. The change also affects, as I said before, the new move Horse 3+4, since you can do Horse 3+4 into Heaven and Earth 1 into down 1+2, which is a crazy buff. Now they still nerfed the move in a way that they changed the recovery so that we don't have the frame kill anymore. And what is the frame kill? For those of you who played Lidia in Season 1, like to watch high-level Lidia players, you probably have noticed that what Lidia players tend to do in Season 1 was, if you did a wall combo and used Heaven and Earth 1 as a wall combo, we whiffed back 4 and did down 1+2 to kind of get a frame kill to increase the damage of our stomp. As you can see, if I do it like that, it does 26. If I do it in a combo, it does 20. So it added 6 damage on top of that. Now they changed the recovery of the opponent so that if I put my opponent to tech roll, and if we do the frame kill, they can stand up anymore. They can stand up now. So that does not work anymore, unfortunately. I have to say it was very strong. The wall combo did a lot of damage anyways. So that nerf is not too bad considering the buffs we have gotten. We still had the down 1+2 wall combo in general, dealing 20 damage. It lost the 6 damage amplifier, but it's okay. Alright, and the next nerf is about Heaven and Earth 2, but that's a general nerf. Heaven and Earth 2 used to wall splat from 20 meters away. I could stand in Island Paradise Tekken 8 with Heaven and Earth 2. I would have splat someone at Island Paradise Tekken 7. So that was quite crazy. I think in Season 1, if I stand here and I hit a Heaven and Earth 2, I would have wall splat my opponent. Now as you can see, it still wall splats them, puts them to the wall, but it doesn't give you a whole combo. You have to be way closer now in order to make Heaven and Earth 2 wall split, which is a fair change because that was quite crazy. That was quite crazy. I think if I'm here, you still get a wall split, which is a decent range, but not like before. So we take that. The nerfs, in my opinion, are justified. They were crazy things, and they got nerfed across the board anyways. Like the frame kill got nerfed for Heihachi as well, since he had that one. And the wall split ranges got adjusted for Jin as well, since he had him with his health sweep, heat smash, was just crazy overall. Alright, not many more changes left. The next one, another quality of life change to 1 to 3. They adjusted the hitbox of the third hit to be a bit lower, so that we can use it better in combos. In certain combos where you did 1 to 3, like that, in Season 1 that probably would have whiffed because the hitbox of the 3 was not as good as it was before, as it is now, sorry. And since they adjusted the hitbox of the third hit, combos where you use 1 to 3 are way more consistent now. Maybe that works? Yeah, that even works. So it's quite nice. Quality of life change. The next change is about running 1 and heat 1+2, where when you use heat 1+2, I think they have adjusted the time so that heat does not run out. See? See how my heat was about to run out? But because I held 1+2, my heat still remains until I actually hit the move. Like, it's about to run out. I hold 1+2. As you can see, it always had that small amount left just so I can have the heat version of 1+2. And the same applies to running 1. If I do running 1 and my heat is about to run off, it'll still remain at like the lowest amount it can have, just so that you get the heat version. Just so that you can have the heat version. Another quality of life change, which I changed for Lyra as well in Season 1, so it's a very welcome change. And the other two changes are just some bug fixes, where down 1+2, the grounded stomp had a bug where it did less damage, or like not intended damage when you were at level 1. Now I'm at level 0. I did not notice that, to be honest, when I read that in the patch notes. I didn't even know that that bug existed, that specifically at level 1 it didn't do the intended damage. And then there was another bug fix where sometimes when you got a heat engage with Horse 2, the amount of HP you gained was just non-existent. It's good that they fixed the bugs. I didn't notice them too much, like the Horse 2 I noticed at times, but not too much, and the down 1+2 I didn't notice at all. So that were the changes of Lydia in Season 2. And now, if we talk about the big picture, like how did it change, how you want to use Lydia, is that I would say Lydia became more wolf and cat heavy than before. Having better transitions to wolf and having better access to the wolf moves just means you have to play around with wolf way more. Also giving you horse 3+4, there are like certain things you can do in order to apply pressure better now. Like especially at the wall, let's say your opponent is very defensive because they're like scared of Dominic 3. You have the opportunity to like use FF2 into horse 3+4 into do the mix. Also a change is since Wolf 4 doesn't give you a knockdown anymore but leaves you at +8, you have a frame trap by pressing back 1. You are standing, the opponent is crouched, so even if your opponent crouch jabs, actually wait, let me check. If your opponent crouch jabs, you should be at a quite advantageous situation. Don't you have down jab here? You don't. Wait, he's crouched anyways. Maybe. Let's check. Since back 1 and trade I think gives a good situation. Yeah, +18. Okay, it's not the best, but still. Using the frames with the new Wolf 4 is very good. In general, using QCF 1+2 is very good. Since the charge leaves you at a super advantageous situation. This is also a good sequence you can use to do chip damage. Like what I like to do is when I hit a heat engage with back 1, I like to charge that into charge that and just do quite a big chunk of chip damage. Let's assume you're in level 3 and let's check the chip damage of Lydia. I hit it back 1, I charge that, I charge that, I do this, I do a heat smash, and I can do this again, and I chip Lydia down from 90 HP back to 1. So the chip damage is kind of crazy, and keep in mind that dealing chip damage is more important than in Season 1 now, since you have all those tools to get rid of the chip damage of your opponent, like down back 3 and upward 1+2. So try to aim more for chip damage moves, try to chip more and apply more pressure by Wolf. by doing QCF 1 plus 2 2. You can also use running 1 now, since it does quite a good amount of chip damage. And since they buffed 1 plus 2, what you can also do, and what I also like to do, is play around 1 plus 2 after heat engage. Like this. It does a good amount of chip damage, it does more damage on natural hit, and it leaves you in a mix-up situation. It's a bit hard in my opinion to incorporate 4-3-2, as I said, since in my opinion every time you want to use forward 3-2 you can just straight up use QCF 1 plus 2 2. You can charge QCF 1 plus 2 2, but you can't charge forward 3-2, which is just a disadvantage of this move. But maybe you guys find some combos where you can use the move, or find some situations. I'm very open to learn from other Lidia players as well. Also, big shoutouts to Axo, the Lidia player from America, who helped me out with some tech as well. Like the horse 3 plus 4 into Heaven and Earth 1, into down 1 plus 2 I got from him. And also the wolf 4 into down 1 plus 2 at the wall, I also got the tech from him. So it's actually quite sick to have other Lidia players, talk to them and see what they're gonna do. I'm actually hyped to see Lidia players perform with the new Lidia, see what you guys do and see what you guys can do with the new combos, since the combo system is kind of crazy. Yeah, for all of you who missed a crazy combo I did in a match with Lidia as well, I'll put that combo after this one, so stay tuned. Keep watching. There will be a sick Lidia combo after that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the Lidia changes. I went over them. I tried to help you understand as much as possible. And I hope we as Lidia gang rise even more in Season 2. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with more videos and see you. Peace out. Enjoy the combo.
Where does she have a mix out of that?
Holy shit!